All right, so I'm Mickey Cohen-Wolkowitz, and I am faculty here at DCR at the Duke Clinical Research Institute. I have training in pediatrics, and also I subspecialize in pediatric infectious diseases and pharmacology. And within the Pediatric Trials Network, I'm a member of the steering committee, and I'm also the principal investigator of several studies conducted under the Pediatric Trials Network. So I'm going to tell you about the Pediatric Opportunistic PK Study, or POPS. And this is a study where we are looking to figure out how medications are being dosed in children. Some of the medications that we use in children, we don't have a lot of information on what the most appropriate dose should be. So therefore, with this study, we're trying to figure out what the best dose is by taking blood samples from patients that are receiving these drugs per routine medical care. That means that their pediatricians or their caregivers are given the medicines, and then what we're doing is collecting blood samples, measuring the levels of the medicine, and that way we can figure out if the dose that they're getting is appropriate or not. The blood samples that we're taking through the POP study are actually taken whenever patients are getting blood samples obtained per their routine medical care. So for example, if a patient goes to a clinic and the physician needs to draw a blood for medical care, or they want to look at hemoglobin or some other laboratory, then what we would ask the parents is just to give a little bit more of the blood so that we can take it to measure the levels. So most often we won't ask a patient to get stuck just for the study, although there's the option for that. And we're not only looking at blood samples, we're also looking at samples in the urine, saliva, and other body fluids, so that we can see, well, how much of the drug is going to different places. So this study is important because once we get the levels of the medications in the blood, we're going to be able to figure out what's the best dose for these medicines. Sometimes we take the information that we know from adults and we say, well, maybe this is the best dose for children, and it's never been studied in children, but we just take that information and apply it anyway. But with this study, we're actually going to get information from children, and we'll be able to devise the best dose for children rather than adults. And we know that there's a lot of differences between children and adults, meaning that children are not small adults that we can just take the dose, divide it by the weight, and give it. There's a lot of changes that happen during childhood that we need to take into account to make sure that they're getting the best dose of a particular drug. And this study specifically is going to involve many different sites across the country and maybe internationally, so that we can get a lot of patients from very different backgrounds included in this study, and then again try to make sure that each child is getting the best dose of the medication possible. So right now in the study, we've activated 13 sites in the United States, and that means that they are ready to enroll patients in the study and collect samples. So far, there's about 10 patients that have been enrolled. We just activated the sites in the last month or so, and they're receiving different drugs, and they're all of different ages. What's coming, we're going to activate more sites, and we're hoping that we're going to get about 30 or 40 in the United States, and continue to collect samples and enroll patients. So we're looking to about 300 patients in this study, and it's possible that it's going to be expanded if we add more sites than what we had originally planned.